Today is going to be different than some of our other videos. Obviously, I'm just sitting in bed. This has been something we have felt like we were supposed to share for quite a while. And I personally have been putting it off. And then some more things happened. This is just a very vulnerable, hard video to make. And my heart is pounding so fast right now.
Hey. I honestly don't even know where to start with this. Yeah, three miscarriages. It sucks. Being behind a camera and vlogging and stuff, it's really easy to only want to focus on the good things that is going on around you and only show those things. But I think the reality of life is that crappy things, just sucky things happen. And I know for me, whenever I watch YouTubers and stuff, I always am attracted to people who are real and who are genuine about what's going on in their life. And that's what both Delaney and I want to be with you guys, is we want to be genuine.
I've been really very hesitant to share any of this stuff, anything that's been going on over the last 6 months of our life, because I don't want anybody to think that I'm sharing something to get attention or to have people feel sorry for us, because that is 100% not what I want. And if I didn't feel very strongly like the Lord was asking me to do this, I 100% would not, because I don't deal well with emotions and I don't do well with being vulnerable. And to be honest with you, this is a really hard video for me to make, and so please know my heart in this and know why. I just want us to be vulnerable and real and just share exactly what's going on in this moment and what's been going on for the last 6 months and even the last few years. So back in 2018, I had my first miscarriage, and that was really hard and really shocking. And we made a video about it because everybody knew that we were pregnant. And looking back on that video, it's really hard for me to watch, because I feel like when we made that, it was really numb. We were very numb. And I don't necessarily think either one of us processed the emotions from that very well.
The first one we made a video on, and honestly, I hate that video. Because it was like we were just trying to brush past it and just say God was good. But Christians, we're told God is good and always does good, and God doesn't want to harm your babies or whatever. God didn't do this to you. But then you also hear that God is sovereign and that God is in control and all this stuff. And I'm just honestly, I'm angry. I'm angry at God, because I'm what the heck?
And then fast forward to almost exactly a year later, and we had Jensen, and he is just a light and a joy, and he is so healing. And I feel like anybody that's around him is just oh, he's so joyful, and he is. And we needed that after our first miscarriage, and we especially have needed it now.
Good Lord, Jensen has just been the ray of sunshine throughout all of this. He seriously, he makes things so much better. And if you haven't watched any of our vlogs, maybe this is the first vlog you guys are watching. After you're finished with this one, go watch some vlogs with him. And in fact, we have a whole playlist titled Baby Jensen, so we'll put it up in a card right now for you to check out. But it seriously, he's the best. He makes our lives so much better. he's incredible. He's like intentionally funny. He's like the funniest kid. And I know I'm biased, but like he is just like the best. And I just seriously love him so much, even more now than I ever thought I would. You know, and I know that love will just continue to grow because he's just incredible. And honestly, now we cherish him even more so, because he genuinely does feel like a miracle baby, and I believe he is.
November 2020, I had another miscarriage, and it was different than the first one in that I didn't have to continually go back to make sure my HCG had gone down. Like, it had already gone down when it had actually happened. And so I had gone into the ER because I had already known that I was pregnant for a little bit, and I had started bleeding. And so I went into the ER alone because of COVID, so Joseph couldn't go with me. And I had to hear them say again that I was having another miscarriage. And I don't feel like we processed that at all. It was just such a shock that something like that would happen again, and it didn't make sense to either one of us. And this was super late at night. I went to the ER. Joseph sat in the car and waited for me, and we got home really late at night, and Joseph went to work at 6 a.m. the next day. It was just like, if we throw ourselves into normal life, then it didn't happen and we don't have to deal with it. And I knew that I was supposed to share about that, but these things make other people very uncomfortable, and they feel really awkward and they don't know what to say, and then you feel bad like you're placing a burden on them. And so I didn't. We shared with very few people. And then in January of this year, I knew I was supposed to post on my personal social media accounts about it. And I did, after crying and crying and crying because I did not want to. And after I posted it, several people reached out to me and they were like, I've gone through this and I've told nobody. And I knew in that moment that, like, this is not something that I could be silent about anymore, as much as, like, that's what I want to do, like, so much.
So fast forward after Jensen to Miscarriage Number Two. This one I didn't give myself time to deal with. I really don't feel like I dealt with the first one either, because I didn't really know how. Like, the second one we didn't even talk to you guys about. Like, the second one just felt like I brushed it off, like it just didn't happen. Because, like, so Delaney had to go, she went to the ER because she was bleeding. So we wanted to figure out something. This was like close to midnight. So we went, and I wasn't even allowed to go in with her because of COVID. And so I didn't go in there with her, and she comes out and tells me it's a miscarriage. So mind you, we're leaving, it's like after midnight, we get home, and I have to be at work at 6 a.m. the next day. And I wish I would have just called in and just given myself time, but I didn't. I went to work. And I just chose to not give myself time to feel what I needed to feel. I felt like if I just move on, or if I keep myself busy, like whether that be with my current job, by the way, I work at Chick-fil-A, I'm the drive-thru director there, so like I have quite a bit of responsibilities there. So like if I kept myself busy with that, I thought, you know, like it would keep my mind off of it. Or if I kept myself busy with making videos or making music or whatever it may be, that I wouldn't have to deal with those feelings. But they were all still there and still are.
So fast forward to right now. It's March 31st, 2021, and I am waiting to have my third miscarriage. And those are really words that I never thought that I was gonna have to say. It's been a long few weeks. March 11th, I went into the doctor's, and it was our first appointment. I was supposed to be 9 weeks, and I was really nervous. Joseph was really nervous, but we were just so hopeful and so excited that we were gonna have a baby in October. We went in, and like, people were really kind, and we got back really quickly, which is also crazy. And then we went to the ultrasound, and she was silent. And I've been there before, 2 other times, and you just know when something isn't right. And she was kind, or trying to be kind, while also trying to be professional, I guess. And she said, "You're measuring 7 weeks, not 9 weeks. Could something have been off?" And I'm just like, I don't know. And so she had me get my blood drawn. And then the next week, she had me get my blood drawn 2 other times, because you want your HCG levels to double over the course of a few days. And so she wanted to see that they had doubled, and they had gone down a couple thousand. And then the next time they'd gone down a couple more thousand, but very slowly. Like, it wasn't a huge jump, and I was still in like the 70,000 range. And then that Friday, I had another ultrasound, and it was very strange and very confusing because she could see more, but she also said I was measuring less. So there hadn't necessarily been any growth, even though she could see more. Honestly, I don't know. And she gave me the option to wait for a week and see if my body did things naturally, or give me medicine. And I just didn't feel like at that time I could take medicine to help start things, because it just felt very overwhelming and very scary and hard. And so I waited a week, and then I had reached out to her, and I hadn't really heard anything at all. And so I decided to reach out to a midwife and talk to her, and I went yesterday, and I just felt so much hope. And not hope necessarily that things would be okay with this pregnancy, even though it was confusing and all of this stuff, but just like hope that someone in the medical field and who had medical knowledge was going to help me no matter what happened. And I instantly just felt like loved and cared for. And so she drew my blood for my HCG and progesterone, which the doctors wouldn't do. So that was really awesome. And then I had an ultrasound today, just because she said, before we do anything, I want to double, triple check. And so I had the ultrasound, and I was measuring just over 7 weeks, and I should be almost 12 now. I believe this is what would be classified as a missed miscarriage, that you're having a miscarriage, but your body is not letting go, so it can take a while. Sometimes you have to take medicine, sometimes you have to have a D&C, and right now it's been several weeks of this and just waiting. And so we'll see what our next steps are and how that's gonna go.
This third one, man. This third one was a shock. I mean, like, honestly, we both, Delaney and I, felt like things are going to be different this time. We thought it was going to be different in the sense that, hey, we're going to have our baby here. I don't think, and now seeing what's happening actually, because like literally today we just confirmed that it is a miscarriage, like for real, like legit. We've been kind of going back and forth with doctors, and we finally got in touch with like a midwife who got us in touch with the ultrasound place to get us another ultrasound, and we, it was confirmed that it is a miscarriage. And so like we genuinely felt like it was going to be different And then when it's not different in the way that you were expecting it to be different, it just sucks. Like, this whole thing sucks.
Tomorrow I am going back in to get my blood drawn again from the midwife. And then I think that we will get a plan of what to do next. And we've just decided, as best as we can and as we emotionally can, that we will take you along this journey so that maybe this can help someone else. And maybe with this, if they see it, it will allow them to skip some of the things that we've had to go through. And this is not an easy thing emotionally for Joseph or myself or our families or even our friends. It is something very unexpected to just continually keep happening, and I am going to fight for answers because this is really hard. And I hate that so many other people have gone through this, and they've gone through it alone or with not telling anybody, because even telling people, it feels like the most isolating and alone thing. I never want someone to feel this way. I think that this is a really uncomfortable topic for a lot of people. I've seen a lot of women come out in the last just like 2 years, even the last year, talking about this and talking about what they've gone through. And I wish that before this time that I had even known what a missed miscarriage was. Because like currently right now, I sort of feel like a crazy person because I told some of my friends this, I feel like I'm just waiting for a bomb to go off and I have no idea when it's gonna happen. And I'm still very heavily dealing with morning sickness and dizziness and trying to take care of a toddler, and knowing that you're feeling all of this pain and this sickness and you're not gonna get to have your baby is just indescribable. And I just want to be real about that. I don't want to put on a show or pretend that things are okay, because right now they're not. And I believe that things are going to get better. I will never forget these miscarriages. I will never forget that this has happened. And truly, I don't think you ever move on. Like, that's a thing that I think a lot of people kind of expect, that you're just gonna move on. It's not that you move on, it's that you learn to live with the things that have happened. And I guess in some ways that's moving on, but for me it's different because I still can vividly and traumatically remember my first miscarriage and exactly how it felt and feeling like I was giving birth. And so it is traumatizing. Like, I sit here and I'm terrified because I know that I'm going to experience that again, and it's just really hard. But I also know that I know what I feel like the Lord has promised me. And I believe that there is always hope and that I will have more kids. And Jensen will have siblings here on earth with us. And I cannot wait for that because I truly believe that's going to happen. And I'm going to hold on to the hope of Jesus. And I remember during my first miscarriage, and I was in so much pain, and I grabbed Joseph's hand and I said, God is still good. And I wholeheartedly believe that, even in this moment where I'm sad and I'm tired and my body is exhausted. God is still good, and we're gonna get through this. And if you are going through this right now or have gone through this, please never be hesitant to reach out to us. I want to be able to pray for you, and so does Joseph.
Honestly, Dylan and I both just wanted to sit down and express how we're feeling. And right now, like, I feel angry at God. I know He loves me, and I know He's for me, and I know He's good, and I know all these things. But regardless, I'm still angry at Him. But I'm learning, despite me being angry at Him, He's like okay with that, you know? Like, he's a big boy. Like, he can take care. Like, he's okay with me being angry at him. He's okay with me not wanting to read my Bible, me not wanting to pray, me not wanting to even talk to him because of me being angry. Like, he's fine with that. Like, he is patient with me. And I'm really learning that side of God that I've never really seen before. Because my mentality is like, oh, if I don't do good, I'm going to get beat over the head with a mallet, which is not biblical at all. Just, he is love. Even though this hurts right now, he's still with me. And if I get emotional, I'm not sorry, because I just get emotional now these days. But guys, men who are going through this, along with your significant other, I'm here to talk to. I probably don't know you, but like, seriously, if you need to talk, message us. Like, message me. I'll talk. Like, I'm here for you guys, because this sucks. Man, this sucks so bad. We love you guys, and thank you for taking the time to watch our videos and to be a part of our lives. But this is a huge part of our lives, and we felt like we couldn't make any more vlogs until we made this one and really just document our journey through this and actually having more kids, because we do want to have more kids. If you guys are going through this or something similar, you're not alone. And it's okay to talk about your feelings and to talk about these things, because these are real things that happen to people a lot that should be talked about, but they're not. And you know, even if you're not a Christian, like, we're still here for you guys to talk to. Like, we love you guys, and thanks again for just being here. Thank you guys for watching.